I opened my front door to a man who should have been buried in a federal prison, not standing in sandals on my quiet suburban porch, smiling, "Hey, Jake, been a while." The world stopped, sprinklers hissed, kids screamed down the street, and Linda's wind chimes rang next door, but my chest yelled a siren. Only I could hear my name. Isn't Jake anymore. I'm not that man. Haven't been for 8 years. Yet this ghost from a life I'd been reduced to ashes had found me. I didn't inquire as to how I knew. 3 days before, Linda the HOA's Queen of Disorder blew my address on a public Facebook status, crowing like she'd discovered a scandal new guy at 312. Oakage Shady never speaks. Skips. HOA meetings, likely a vagabond. She pinned it with a winking emoji, believing she'd shame me into her domination. Instead, she'd called forth the very predators I'd been kept from under witness protection, all because Linda would not leave well enough alone. It started a month ago when I relocated to Willow Grove, a tidy subdivision of manicured lawns and obligatory smiles. I was reborn as Tom Hayes handed a corner residence with clean line of sight and no blind spots. Ideal for watchfulness rather than charm, the U.S. Marshals ingrained in me. Blend in, remain low, disappear in plain sight. I took my rescue dog Max out at dawn, worked remotely as an IT consultant and steered trouble. No parties, no guests. Just silence. It lasted until Linda knocked clipboard in hand, her peroxide blonde bob, a helmet of authority. She introduced herself as HOA president, eyeing my mailbox's unapproved gray shade and preaching about community engagement. I gave short answers, hoping she'd mark me as dull and move on. But Linda lived on control, and my quiet was a challenge. She couldn't resist her campaign. Escalated notes on my door spotted grass a 1/4 inch too long. A neighbor whispered. She'd been seen taking pictures of my trash cans. I caught her taking photos of my backyard, saying she was looking for squirrels. I reported her to the HOA board, but she was the board, having bullied everyone else into submission. Then came her post, a blurry photo of my house address, bolded, posted in the Willow Grove watch group. Comments stacked up, strange vibe hiding something. Why live here if you despise community? One commenter's name chilled my blood. Not a neighbor, but a specter. From a sealed indictment, a life I'd improvised my death to run away from. I called my marshal's handler Sarah in a sweat. She remained placid, requesting screenshots, verifying for tampered cars, and telling me to remain stationary. Max, perceiving my fear, clinging to me like glue. I did not sleep, realizing trouble wasn't on its way. Was here 3 days later, that man punched his easy smile. A blade rewind, but none of this would have occurred if Linda hadn't made me her obsession. Her desire to control wasn't about property values or safety. It was power. My refusal to kowtow to laugh at her snide comments made me a target. She exposed me, unaware that her prank put a federal witness in danger and invited killers onto her idyllic terrain. The marshals wanted to move me new name, new town, same drill, but I was finished running from every window with a grudge and a smartphone. I had skills a house wired with cameras and a digital cleaner than a surgical suite. I pleaded to remain to repair this. They agreed begrudgingly with daily check-ins and a guarantee of instant extraction. If threats mounted first, I researched Linda's digital footprint. Her post was awful. But if she'd posted my car Max, or my routine, I wasn't merely exposed. I was a sitting duck by week's end. I learned she hadn't merely posted my address. She'd sold it, locking the door after that knock. I took the burner phone secreted in a hollowed book. My hands shook as I dialed Sarah. Confirm code word. She said I gave it lockdown, back up en route. The call cut off. Max growled, ears pinned. I checked every camera feed. No residual figures. No unusual vehicles. That knock was not a conversation. It was a warning. We know you're alive. Linda's post still live was a neon billboard. I scroll it again, discovering additional photos of my porch driveway mailbox. An enlarged delivery sticker with Tom Hayes. Clear her profile connected to suburbanentry.net. A membership blog for suburban intel sample posts, doxed others. Suspected dull den at 204, Elm or late night lurker at 117 Pine. My address was just one award in her empire of surveillance. The site wasn't blah. It was a hub of data feeding forums and aggregators for affiliate money. A members only area needed invites with a fake ID. I commented new here, wondering about the Oakage guy, creepy type in minutes. Linda responded, DM me donations welcome for juicy details. I screenshotted it and forwarded it to Sarah, marked urgent by midnight. 2 cybercrime agents were in my living room. Laptops humming, tracing Linda's online web. One searched for, Grim, she's not only nauseous, a menace. Her server was home to dozens of doxing blogs connected with HOA tyrants across the country. Linda was a cog in a machine that controlled and profited. Sarah called voice, instructed, this is a Tier 2 breach. You can remain, but we're keeping an eye on her house. One additional post. We shut her down. She hesitated. It's not only Linda anymore that sent shivers down my spine. I'd spent years wiping Jake. Constructing Tom and HOA Snoop had broken my shield. I wasn't playing defense anymore. I made a second fake ID as a journalist researching suburban surveillance and emailed Linda for a podcast interview. She bid immediately. OMG. Yes, I've got so much to spill. I scheduled a video call for the next night, intending to record every word. If she bragged, I'd have her confession for the feds and the neighborhood. The marshals verified. Porch caller was Luis Marquez, a cartel thug from my former case reappeared in Nevada. Linda's status was his last lead he hadn't targeted. Not sure if I was really Jake. I had days to move before he or worse returned. I didn't sleep scanning alarms. Having Max close, Linda had no idea parading around in leggings, ordering a teen with a clipboard. Her new minion. Did she know feds were sniffing her browser, that her antisocial neighbor had created a task force? I didn't believe it. She was too busy planning her next HOA decree at noon. I took Max timing it to Linda's gardening spy hour. She grinned as I passed. Nice to see you out. Tom, I smiled. Figured I'd take the day off before the HOA meeting. Heard you're chairing. Her smile sagged. She hadn't anticipated me being there. Will you appear? She asked. Wouldn't miss it? I said, leaving her to seethe at the meeting. I sat in the back, observing neighbors shuffle in, complaining about fines. Linda swept in, mic in hand, projecting authority. She ranted about unapproved fences, and then switched to digital openness. I stood flash drive poised. I uncovered something on a public site linked to our HOA. Let's share it before she could prevent me. The projector came to life, her blog, my address post, IP logs, identifying her as the source, gasped. Linda shrieked, this is an invasion. I came face to face with, feds confirmed this. It's cyber harassment, I'm in witness protection, her entry. Put my life in jeopardy and a federal lawsuit. If you registered on her premium site, you're a party to a legal surveillance. Quiet. Even her allies turned cold. Phones beeped as people checked. Linda stuttered. He's a liar, most likely a crook. 2 plainclothes officers hovered, badges gleaming. Linda Pierce, you're under suspicion of leaking protected witness information, unauthorized surveillance, and cyber misconduct. Her mic dropped, an agent whispered in her ear, and she exited. Pale escorted out that evening. I was on the podcast call disguised as the journalist. Linda had left a voice memo beforehand. Smug. I've stalked neighbors for decades. People pay big for dirt such as this. Tom Guy posted his address and my traffic skyrocketed. I sent it to the feds. Sealing her fate, neighbors came up to me after meeting. Stunned one, Ed confessed. Linda fined him for a birdhouse, another. Rachel said Linda posted her daughter's photo, accusing her of vandalism. This wasn't just my fight, it was a neighborhood's reckoning. 2 days later, a letter slid under my door. No postmark, just my name. Inside, a grainy courtroom photo of me testifying, captioned, Still watching Max hadn't barked. I checked cameras, nothing. Sarah sighed. When I called, trial footage leaked last month to a cartel channel. You're in danger. We have to get you moving. I wouldn't. I was able to trace the leak through Linda's blog. I wasn't simply a witness, I was an asset in cybersecurity. They decided deploying a camouflaged van to the area. I located an IP hit through a Reno library connected with cartel trends, focusing on my parcel Barcodia tracking gag. Marquez utilized Linda's blog post to verify me. I strolled Max welcoming neighbors, taking a pause alongside the van. Agent Ryan said, Think this ends clean? I shrugged. We'll control the mess. That evening, an email struck. You shouldn't have testified. 30 minutes after my evening stroll, a drone hummed my yard at midnight, gone in seconds. I followed its route 2 blocks away near Linda's. I pieced it all together, blog logs, drone, data, email headers. Her subscriber payments, Linda's face made the news. HOA leader probed for revealing witness. Her mug shot went viral. Neighbors from her past, exposing her harassment. Her blog was selling data to marketers, realtors, even shady PIs. The HOA dissolved weeks later. Liability too high. I launched a Bacona fake witness list with my address laced with a tracker. Within hours, it was opened. Europe, LA, then a ranch an hour away. The marshals raided it, finding 3 men, my photo, a gun, and a note. Confirm ID. They were cartel scouts hesitating to strike. I felt hollow. Not winning, surviving. Wasn't living feds. Presented me with a new job, shielded, protected status. But active training agents on cyber threats such as Linda's. My residence was turned into a fortress, thermal cameras, fibernet blackout procedures. I began an anonymous blog. Safe Haven, educating HOA surveillance victims, how to battle surveillance. It spread, virus quietly. Linda endured years of litigation, accusing me, but her emails, memos, and logs condemned her. The cartel wasn't finished, but I wasn't in hiding. I was a firewall anticipating the next knock, ready to strike.